This is a pivotal moment
I
in
see
time to be
no
in the car
panel
industry.
caps.
This isn't like a little thing. This is a monstrous
I would hope
change
so.
in dynamics of cars.
They hand built it. I would hope
to figure out how to be more environmentally friendly.
But we're also planning for a very different future, ultimately autonomous driving. But on that journey is electrification.
He said that the path towards full self-driving or autopilot or autonomy had electrification on the way. It kind of made it sound like electrification isn't the primary focus. How do you feel about that?
No, I feel like electrification is the primary focus. I'm trying to think of what having an electric car would benefit in terms of autonomy. I mean, it's definitely no secret that basically every single automaker that's going through with electrification in the same breath is also saying that they're going to have autonomous features. I don't know if that was because when Tesla came about, they also were pushing autonomous features alongside the electrification. So it seems like they kind of go hand in hand. It would be interesting to know if Tesla was just simply an electric car company that didn't push autonomous features. It would be interesting to know if every other company that's trying to make electric cars would also be pushing autonomous features. I mean, do you think if you think Tesla didn't have autopilot and was just straight electric cars, good electric cars, but just electric cars and not really anything in the autonomy
Well, that's how they started.
viewpoint. Right.
When did autopilot get released? 2014?
That's still
It's 2 years after.
Still relatively early. I mean, no one else was really going full into electrification at that point. But
Did Tesla state with the initial release of autopilot that the car would be full self-driving, or did that come later? I know when the Model 3 was unveiled, that's when they said every car built today would be full self-driving. But from the start, was autopilot a future level 5 system? I don't think so.
yeah, but I feel like
They went a few years without it.
yeah, but I feel like knowing how Elon projects his optimism, he probably said that this is the first step towards full self-driving.
You do not need an electric car for autonomy. The
Right.
two are completely different subjects.
Yep.
I don't know why. Like you said, every company is doing it side by side, but the two are unrelated.
Correct.
There are so many factors that's making the shift to electrification not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Almost 100 years ago, Henry Ford himself was looking at electrified as a technology.
Our first generation battery electric vehicle started its life as a product that we needed to do to be compliant in the zero emission state, the green states, if you will.
Dennis, just real quick, tell me how much you hate compliance cars.
Oh man, let me tell you how much I hate compliance cars. That is just the definition of fine, I guess we'll do it because you told us to do it, but we're going to do the bare minimum to make sure that we just get by whatever regulations you set on us. Oh, boy, do I hate. You're telling me you don't like cars haphazardly put together at the last moment? They just took a gasoline car, tried to figure out how to fit batteries inside, and you get a range of about 90 miles. You tell me that's not what you like to do?
You think they have up to 90 miles? Isn't the Focus electric have like 40 miles of range?
No, it wasn't that bad. I mean, maybe now, today, if you get it. I don't know what the battery degradation is like, but when it came out, it was about... They all range from like 70 to 90 miles of range. Maybe like 101 if they were lucky, if they really, tried. So...
Initially, it was all about range and it was all about just being green.
The team was trying to show to the customers that we have this incredible technical capability.
It was going to be a great battery electric vehicle, but it wasn't going to be an emotional
Those first
heartbeat.
looks.
It was just a car.
And when I first
Prototypes
saw it,
before the
that's the
Mach-e.
very reason why I said, oh boy, Houston, we have a problem. The
That looks like
vehicle
an
looked
Infiniti.
like a science project.
I thought to myself, who's going to want to buy this car? It wasn't exactly an SUV. It wasn't exactly a sedan.
When I came into the role as CEO, the electrification had stalled in the
SUV,
company.
not
We
a sedan,
tore up
perhaps
the
a
existing
cross
prototype. We said we
between
want
the
to
two?
start over. Ford stands for much more than just meeting kind of environmental regulations. We put everyone in one agile group, and we said, bring us lots of prototypes. It was about unleashing the passion and creativity of people who wanted to interpret something so new that it was actually risky.
Team Edison was this brilliant idea of create a company within a company, a small, coordinating, visionary force to create aspirational product.
The best way of increasing electric car take-up in the world is to make things that people really want.
We know customers, they're looking for a guilt-free transportation with iconic design that can represent themselves.
We needed to do something that was going to be state-of-the-art, cutting edge, and exciting.
We wanted to deliver something that was magical.
Then we started to ask ourselves, what would get people excited about an electric product?
And it was actually Jim Farley who suggested, what if we made it a Mustang?
So now it's basically confirmed. It was not
I'll
a
never
Mustang
forget the first time
from
my
start.
father brought
Correct.
home the Mustang. I was 6. I just remember thinking it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
My first Mustang was a 69 Mach 1.
My father bought a 1964 and a half 289. My two sisters also had Mustangs, so it's a family affair.
I got my first Mustang before I could even drive.
My Mustang is
How-
everything
What?
to me.
No. What do you mean you got a Mustang before you could drive? I hope you mean like you got it like the day before you got your license. Like I hope they didn't give you it like a year before you could drive. Okay.
In Vietnam, and my first image of a Mustang was everything that I thought was great about America.
It means iconic. It means stylish.
You can feel the power, hear the noise, and squeal the tires. Just makes you feel good.
The feel you get while you're driving down the road, and people just like look at you and they're like, that's Mustang, and you're like, that's my Mustang.
Mustang means driving really fast on the highway, listening to some really loud music.
It's about power. It's about...
So Mustang people are clearly a breed of their own. Do you think the Mach-E is going to attract the same people? You think Mustang people are going to love the Mach-E? I know they currently hate it and everyone wants to rename it. But it's something they're going to have to live with because it's not being renamed.
Do I think the quintessential Mustang owner will like the Mach-E? No.
You think even when it's out, like there's no way the name's changing. Like this is it. This is what you got. They're still gonna not like it.
No, because they hit him on two fronts. One, they made it a crossover, which in itself is already a sin. And two, they got rid of the gasoline motor, so it's a. They punched him twice. It doesn't go vroom. It doesn't go as it drives, bro. So, no, I don't think that the Mustang people will like the Mach-E.
Do you think there's going to be a second generation of Mustang people who only like the Mach-E? Do you think the Mach-E will have a fan base, or will it be another car? Because there's plenty of cars out there that don't have a fan base. Like, who's out here rooting for the Kona? Great car, but like, you don't got KonaForums.com.
I'm sure there is. There might be like
there probably is, but you
25
get
people
my
on
point.
it.
Who's the diehard Kona fan? Not really anyone. Will the Mach-E have a diehard fan base? Tesla does.
Well, yeah, Tesla does. There's not much love gonna be for the Mach-E, I guess, because Mustang people won't like it for the aforementioned reasons I just said, or at least they'll maybe ignore it. They'll be like, "This doesn't exist. This isn't the thing." It's like, it's like a bad movie. It didn't happen. But electric car fans almost all tend to be fans of Tesla. And as we've known over the past years, and we know how rabid Tesla fans can get and diehard loyalists they can get. The thought of maybe liking an electric car that's not a Tesla might be blasphemous for them, and they also won't like the Mach-E because it's not a Tesla. So you're going to have to find that, admittedly, it seems to be small amount of people that like electric cars in general and don't care if it's a Ford, an Audi, a Tesla, or a Hyundai. So I don't know if there's going to be a large fan base. I'm sure there will be a fan base, but I don't think, at least for the time being, it will be large or very loud.
Performance. It's the just incredible.
It's an original. It's an American original.
You could remove all the badging and blindfold somebody until they get in the car, and they could drive down the road and know it's a Mustang.
It needs the attitude of a Mustang, the feeling of when you're driving it.
How do we capture that in the form of a utility vehicle with a drive system that's all electric?
It will be a big challenge.
We pulled in everybody we could find, all different designers, different ages, different experiences, and said, what if that was Mustang?
It was really a mandate of show us what you've got.
Everybody from every studio around the world sketched day and night, trying to come up with better concepts than what we had. It was nuts.
The designers, they were all just super excited. It's like you were almost inventing as you were going.
It's amazing how things started to happen quickly.
This is a huge difference from the other companies. To take your most cherished icons and to ensconce them in the electrification vision, it's unheard of.
I have to agree. It took a lot of balls.
Yeah.
You think they made the right move with it? I think so. If they just released a general electric crossover, it wouldn't have got as much attention as the Mustang branding gave it. There's no way.
I mean, I guess. I mean, they're not tone deaf, obviously, to the fact that they're using a very cherished namesake and using an electric car that kind of, goes against the grain of every other generation of Mustang before it. I mean, clearly they know what they're doing, because ever since they released, revealed it, they've been going on and on about, guys, listen, we know this isn't really a Mustang that you are accustomed to, but trust us, we know it's a Mustang. We know it's a new chapter. Believe us, it's going to be fun. It's going to have the same DNA, whatever they say. So Ford knows what they're doing, and the eggshells they were treading when they decided to make this a Mustang. But yeah, I feel like it definitely is a little bit more popular than if they just created a completely new electric car that wasn't in the Mustang name.
This is where the journey starts to become difficult. How close to Mustang should it be? Do we put a pony on it? Do we call it a Mustang? Is it a close cousin? Is it a sibling? It was exhilarating, but it also scared the shit out of me, because you are messing with the crown jewels.
Consumers from one of our research clinics was saying, are you guys crazy?
Part of the company's on trial here because that brand is so precious, it means so much to everyone, and it has a very high standard of performance.
I was absolutely adamant that it not be a Mustang because, to me, it couldn't possibly deliver upon the Mustang promise. When I saw that it was going to be an SUV, I really dug my heels in.
Mustangs are 2 doors, not 4. They're a coupe, not an SUV. And we were doing a 4-door SUV electric. Holy cow.
This is where the magic happens. This is the spirit of Ford.
Well, once I started to look at the prototypes of this idea, I knew we had lightning in a bottle.
You could see already from that first clay that this could be something really, really unique.
The design team did an amazing job with it, and all of a sudden it started to make sense to me. If we actually want to be proud of this vehicle and everything it can do, we ought to call it Mustang.
Well, now we had made the decision, so we have to deliver on it.
We were literally tasked with, you guys need to change the future trajectory of Ford. You guys need to create a new icon.
Now, electric motor aside,
Yes.
right? It does look like a Mustang. It does take all the characteristics of a Mustang. More than any other Ford does.
Yeah. At the very least, they didn't just make a completely unrelated car and just slap the Mustang name on it. At the very least, it does look like what I would imagine an SUV version of a Mustang would look like. The front looks like the Mustang, the back looks like the Mustang, so they did.
I think it looks great. How do you think it looks overall?
I think
it's probably, for the price, like in the price range, one of the better looking crossovers on the market. Electrification aside, again. Just general looks. And I feel like it's going to play a big impact on how they do with sales and converting people over to electric cars. Because it does look good.
Definitely helps to have a nice looking car. I mean, there are people that just don't like the Mustang, how it looks anyway, and unfortunately those people aren't really going to have anything new when looking at this, because it does look like a Mustang, so they still won't win those people over. But given the popularity of the Mustang, I feel like there's enough people in the world that like how a Mustang looks, so it's definitely a good choice that they went with a Mustang design language for this electric SUV.
I think everyone's first fear is Ford's taking away the coupe. We're not. The coupe's there. This is a new horse to the stable.
That really lit a fire under us, because it's one thing to have a little bit of a design language. It's another thing to say that it's wearing the pony.
You can put the Mustang emblem on anything, and people will know what it is, on hats, shirts, because that emblem is legendary.
The minute we called it a Mustang, everybody redoubled effort. Here's what I could bring to this. This is what more I could do. Please, can we do this? We started with the exterior.
You think of all the classic cues and styling of the different Mustangs through the years.
The long hood, the muscular haunches, the lines that cut through almost like tendons and muscle.
It's imprinted on your brain.
You need that sweeping roof line, the tri-bar lamps. All of that is there, but done in a really modern, really fluid, unique way.
It's just got that powerful look to it, It looks like it's moving when it's standing still.
And then we progressed to the interior, and we said the same thing. How much influence should it have from historic Mustangs, and how much should it be one foot in the future?
So striking that balance was one of the most difficult things for the entire team. The exterior has to be instantly recognizable as a Mustang, but on the interior of the vehicle, we wanted to signal that this is new. This is the future.
So Mustang is the feel of the leather steering wheel in your hands. It's the smell of the interior.
Mustang brings that passion, that power to a segment that's super, super boring. And I want it to be a spaceship. I want it to be something that no one's ever seen or experienced before. Mustang.
Where do you think they got the idea for the big center screen?
Literally everyone else making a big center screen. And the death of buttons as a whole.
Well, they got a big button there. There's one big button.
Still, one of the most interesting things about this car is that scroll wheel that looks like it's embedded within the screen in the center. It is very cool and very extra, I have to say. We're at the point where we can punch holes in screens for our phones, so we can have the full bezel-less screen on our smartphones and just have a little hole for the camera. So I know that displays can be moved like that, manipulated like that, but that's a whole scroll wheel in a display.
It's a me car. It's about me. It's indulgence. This is a we car. You want to experience these things together with your family, your spouse. And so we wanted the interior to be an open, spacious feeling, but still have the key lines that make it a Mustang.
A lot of people hit an age where they love Mustangs, but they also have children, and it's not the most practical choice for them. So this vehicle, you can put your family in it. It's going to be great.
So our team works through listening to customers and really working with the product.
that just electric powertrain aside, having a Mustang that's in an SUV format, while being blasphemous, does work in favor of those people that can only have one car and they want the Mustang, but then they got a kid, or, you know, their significant other doesn't like the cramped space of a Mustang, so they want something else. So it's definitely a good business choice in that regard.
I have seen a lot of people, you know, start a family, have a kid, maybe grow up, and the first thing they have to do is trade in their Mustang for something more practical.
They gotta cry.
This could be what they're trading in for.
That's very true.
They could be maintaining the Mustang customer by doing that.
Development team on how to get this combined in a way that really meets customers' expectations.
We don't want it to be a science project. Our direction went more towards creating that iconic Mustang product, really deep diving into the heritage of Mustang color and materials.
So we went through like every finish you could possibly think of, because it's the combination between like futuring it and making it electric, but also you gotta keep it Mustang.
Electrification is so much more than an electric motor. It allows us to remix what a car is. This product is going to be like a technology tour de force. That's what customers want.
First look at the software.
Our challenge was, how do we combine technology with this iconic American muscle car and have it actually fit together?
We want to interpret technology in new human ways, not just for the whiz-banging part of it, but the way people will love to use it.
We were considering that this would be the most connected vehicle ever. All of the ecosystem that you carry with your mobile phone inside the car. You have all these other accounts, so why would you even bother not having your Ford account connected to you everywhere you go?
Just like you update your phone, we can update the car. This is a whole new interface for people to interact with their cockpit.
It basically adapts to your behaviors and keeps making it easier and easier for you to use and reach the things that you love.
We had some of the most talented people on the planet, but I don't think anybody could have imagined when we first started where we were going to end up.
You know, a year out, your vehicle will be different. It'll be better than what you had when you bought it.
So, they showed a lot of the UI for the Mustang, and from what I see, typically when a car company shows off their, you know, new user interface for the new big screen that they indubitably have in their new car, a lot of people say that it ends up looking like Tesla. And I don't think that's a fair criticism for a lot of people, because there's only so few ways that you can arrange the buttons and, you know, in a screen that big and still make it usable and not just trying to go different for the sake of being different. So I feel like button placement and whatnot is still, you know, not too different, but the design of it is actually very interesting. It has this... I looked it up because I've seen this design before, and it's actually relatively new. So Ford, even though, you know, people say it might be like a old man's get with the times type of brand, the design they used for their UI is actually very, very trendy as in the UI community. It's called new morphism, which is characterized by these kind of soft shadows that you're seeing, and it's kind of a little bit different from the material design that we see in a lot of our phones and whatnot. So it's very unique, I want to say, at this point. So they definitely took time in the UI department. Definitely put an effort, because I don't really know any other car user interface that uses this type of design language in their user interface. Overall, I do like it. It's definitely very interesting, and Ford, once again, definitely knows the importance of over-the-air updates that were popularized by Tesla. They know that consumers want to have, features being pushed to their car as they develop. Well, how do you feel about the design?
I really like it. And it looks like there's like a night mode, right?
Uh-huh.
They showed 2 different variants. Nice that they're going to have some, options, some customization.
Yeah. I like it. There is effort in this car as opposed to the, Ford Focus electric compliance cars. There is effort in this one. They didn't
Typically with electric cars from these legacy automakers, we see them just, throwing an electric motor into something that already exists. This car has been built from the ground up. Every aspect of it, which is pretty impressive. I don't think anyone has done this yet other than Tesla. I can't think of another electric car that was built from the ground up. Parts, software, even the buying method, everything.
Well, the i3 BMW.
Well, yeah, but we don't count that.
The e-tron kind of sort of was it's not an electric Q7.
But that's still
unique.
using Audi's default software, correct? Same interface, same software.
I want to say yes because it's using the same center console.
It's a new body,
correct?
But it's all just Audi. It's the same parts. It's the same seats, same console, same screens.
Correct, and probably not until we get the GT. Everything else before that will probably be a small iteration of current cars.
It'll be interesting to break the Mach-E down and see what % of the car is other Ford parts. Even the little buttons all look different. I don't see any resemblance to any Ford on the lot today with the Mach-E.
Probably the stocks. The turn indicators
that's it.
at the
but
very
that's
least.
It. But that's it. Maybe the screws are the same.
Yeah, I would imagine the screws, maybe pieces of the suspension. But yeah, it would be very interesting to see how much of the Mach-E is unique in its parts, because that, once again, that really says a lot about how much effort they decide to do. Because obviously, when automakers want to make cars, they want to share as many parts as possible because it just makes sense monetarily and time efficiency. So if a large part of this Mach-E is unique in its parts, then they really tried with this one.
Everyone knows the sound of a Mustang. This doesn't have that. So what are you going to do?
So we asked ourselves at first, what should it sound like? And came out pretty quickly, authenticity is key. So we started to use VR tools and sound tools and studio tools so that you could immerse yourself in what this car could be, because it will have a unique sound that it emanates from the vehicle.
Once you hit trigger drive, the vehicle is going to start coming at you. It'll stop next to you.
It's more pleasing, and with the character of the car, it's more fitting. Outstanding, fantastic, love it. Thank you, guys.
So, artificial noises in cars, I think, is a real hot topic of debate in people who like cars.
It's a legal requirement.
Right. But there's a difference, because there's the fake engine noises that companies like to pump into the cabin itself,
like the Porsche
or BMW. With their regular cars, like the M5 or whatever, they made it so quiet that they have to put in engine noises.
That's also an important note. It's not just EVs. They've been making fake interior cab engine noises for a few years now.
Personally, I'm a man that loves engine noises. All right, I am a car guy first, and then an EV guy second. I know, big shocker. I love the sound of really loud engines. So I'm not the biggest fan of artificial engine noises in regards to going into the cabin. I don't know if the Mustang's going to have it. They didn't really touch upon that in this video so far. What they did touch upon seems to be the pedestrian safety noises that you have to have at low speeds, since EVs are quiet.
Which is the bare minimum legal requirement.
Correct. You have to.
That's not them going out of their way to.
I think if that's the actual choice, I think it's a very interesting choice. It sounds like what we imagine an alien spaceship flying saucer. Like that's the noise they made in the cartoons. How do you feel about that noise?
That's how most EVs are sounding like now. I think the Jaguar has a similar noise. I think even the Chevy Bolt has near the same noise.
It's a very cool noise.
That seems to be the default.
I wonder if there's gonna be, because the type of noise isn't mandated. I believe it's just there has to be a noise of, I guess, a certain sound level. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting in the next decade to see if automakers try to, I don't know, personalize their models a bit more by having unique sounds.
I think the noise isn't so much unique. I feel like they're just mimicking it and amplifying the default electric motor noise. It just sounds cool.
I don't know. The electric motor noise to me kind of sounds more like a whine, like a coil whine, like an electric whine.
That's when it's accelerating.
This one's
fast.
yeah. Well, that's what I associate with the sound of an electric motor. This is more like a pipping sound. But yeah, interesting. Especially the lengths that they go to go and to set up this entire VR station that you can experience the pedestrian noises in different scenarios. There's a lot of effort.
This is just the future. This is how every car is being made now.
Yeah, crazy.
Expectations with any car wearing the Mustang badge are going to be big. Every Mustang's better than the last, more powerful, more aggressive, more of what diehard Mustang customers really, really love. This is something very different.
Can't lose the heritage, can't lose style.
It's got to be fun to drive, it's got to be eye-catching, and most of all, it's got to go like hell.
Electric vehicles are way faster than gas-powered vehicles. They could make that car really go if they really wanted to.
We actually sized the high-voltage battery and the motor to meet the performance targets. It's amazing how fast it drives.
Aerodynamics is extremely, extremely important on this vehicle. So we're really working to drive the drag as low as possible to enable better range while still allowing it to look great.
We are bringing performance and environmental friendliness together in one vehicle in a way that we've never been able to do before.
Once we convinced ourselves analytically that we had all of the ingredients to deliver spirit of Mustang, we needed to test.
When you're developing an all-new vehicle, you have to go and torture these things in a way that would just blow most people's minds. But they have to be robust. It has to be real, and it has to be able to wear the pony. I flew down to North Carolina where we have a simulator, and I said to the team, this is a Mustang. It better drive like one.
That was a huge, huge moment for the program team.
When I got out of the simulator, everyone was waiting to hear what I was going to say. And I looked at the entire team and I said, it's not a Mustang. And you could just almost feel the air leave the room with the gasps and just people just thinking, what did he just say?
You could see the team was now in a, almost I would call it tizzy, because nobody would have expected.
He said, guys, we have all of the fundamentals
Bro,
in place, but it was
how
all about the
how can one
fine-tuning.
sentence
We
have
to
so
go
much
back
weight?
and make this a Mustang.
This ain't it, Chief. Chef, this ain't it. This ain't a Mustang.
I sat down with Ron and I said, we have to
Oh
add
man,
more.
those
We have to add
boys
more
went home
performance.
We need to
sad
relook
as
at every
hell.
single element.
And we literally went through and did a side-by-side comparison to say, does this pass the litmus test of living up to Mustang credentials?
We worked in virtual space with our models, then we went up north and tested our physical prototypes. We took the base car out to the track and we knew we had something special.
You push on the accelerator pedal and it's instant thrill.
And it was at that point I said, we've got it. We really got it. I went back down and I redrove what was now going to be the Mustang. It was awesome.
We held a huge event with everybody who is a key stakeholder in Mustang together.
Thousands of people working on this. And it comes to a moment where there's three of us staring at it, and we look at each other and we go, we are ready to go.
The reaction that car got was unbelievable.
This is a perfect combination of both worlds, a high-tech vehicle with iconic design.
The combination of that technology with emotion, with Detroit swagger.
This vehicle will surprise people. And after 40 years at this company, I got to tell you, I'm thrilled.
The vehicle is going to be called the Mustang Mach-e. Mustang means American freedom and independence of spirit, and Mach means fast. It's an E, good for everybody.
This is 1,000% a Mustang.
It's an incredible Mustang.
It's a new pony in the stable.
We're starting to move more and more away from internal combustion engines. People have to embrace that. And embracing it in an electric Mustang is better than embracing it in no Mustang.
Mustang's going to continue to change and continue to be the car that we all know and love.
I think the Mustang name is going to go forever. Probably have spacecrafts riding around and say Mustang on it.
I don't know about that one.
No, I can't. No, yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Ford Space Program?
Someone's gonna name their spaceship the Mustang.
How'd you feel about that?
That was touching. All America, baby. Proud to be American. Well, I mean, this just reinforces what I said earlier in the video, where Ford knows that they're holding a very important namesake, and they're trying to not cheapen out the name and dilute it. As an example, once again, I'm gonna go to my old friend BMW, who I like to pick on. As people are aware, BMW's performance cars are typically denoted with an M and then a number, so the M3, M4, M5, M6, whatever, so on and so forth. Over the past 5 to 10 years, they've been adding on the M badging to the regular cars. So there was like a 330i, used to be just a regular 4-cylinder car, whatever, nothing really too special, just a BMW. But they started making 330i M, which is kind of like, it's better, but it's not really an M car. So they're really diluting, because having an M badge on your car used to mean something. That was like, we pushed the engine to the very limits, whatever. So BMW enthusiasts started to, not like that because it just cheapens on the name. So clearly it looks like Ford is trying to avoid diluting the Mustang brand name, as it means a lot to a lot of people, as this video really hammered on. So yeah, more power to them in that regard.
Are you with it?
I'm with it. I'm
all we need to know.
I'm with it.